kind of rough, actually. Had a teacher, she put me behind a big 6-foot high box. She just didn't have the patience to deal with me and my attention deficit disorder. And her way of dealing with me each day was just to isolate me from the rest of the class. And she put me behind this box for like 6 months or so. Back then, they didn't know much about Ritalin and how to treat kids, so they just doped you up. She was real abusive. She would hit me almost every day. I would have to take my pill before I went to school and during the day. And she would embarrass me in front of the whole class. She's like, Daryl, it's time to take your medicine so you'll act right. And the kids would laugh and pick on me, and sometimes it would make me cry. I always wanted to do something big. I always knew I would do something big. And working a regular 9-to-5 day job just was not fulfilling for me at all. I just knew it was something else that I was meant to do. I was facing 60 years. They charged me with 3 Class A felonies: aggravated assault, reckless conduct, and cruelty to children. One of my students, I was a special ed teacher, he said I hit him with a brick, and they believed it. And I was facing 60 years in prison for a crime I did not commit. My oldest 2 sons' aunt, one day when I was in college, asked me had I ever done comedy. And I said no. She said, well, you should give it a try, you're funny. And I didn't, and I waited about 10 years later, and then finally one day I just said, well, I was watching TV, and I said to myself, I was like, I can do that. I'm funnier than that guy right there. Why not me? And I gave it a shot. DJ was having an open mic night, and I called him up and I explained to him that I'd never done comedy before and that I wanted to give it a try. And he invited me out. He said, well, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. And I came to the place, and I got on stage, and the 3 minutes turned into 7. Next thing I know, he was inviting me back each week. I went for it, and the rest is history. My girlfriend at the time, she was pregnant with a girl, and she was really against me doing comedy. She said if I went ahead with it, she was going to get an abortion and put me out. And that would have been my first daughter, and she was 6.5 months pregnant. So I spent the first 6 months or so of me doing comedy sleeping in my truck. And she did get an abortion. She was 6.5 months pregnant. I didn't even know you could get an abortion that late, but she did. And I kept going. It almost tore me apart. I couldn't sleep. It was real hard. That's one of the reasons I gave up comedy. The last show I did was in 2008. And I was standing, I just finished doing my routine, and for some reason I just looked to the back of the club, and like I saw a little girl in white. And it was like the crowd just got blocked out, and I could hear this little girl talking to me, asking me like, why did you let mommy kill me? And I heard that. And I wasn't drinking, I wasn't high, none of that. And that was it for me, and I left it alone. I stopped doing comedy altogether, and I just focused full time on acting. But I'm determined to finish what I start because I owe it to my daughter. She died because I had a dream.